right, good morning, everybody. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world today. Just going to give another minute here to see if anybody jumps on. All right, it is Friday, and it is time for our weekly wrap-up this week. So, we're going to jump into this. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's had a good week thus far. Been another busy week. Brian, how you doing? Welcome. If you guys have any questions on anything or something that you'd like me to cover, put in the comments below, and then once I'm done going over the weekly wrap, I'll go through here and near the end try to answer any questions that anybody has, or maybe something that you want to talk about next week's weekly wrap. All right, so shows this week on HMG's weekly wrap-up. First up, 5-paragraph podcast. Great show. Michael Penny, 5-paragraph. He created the 5-paragraph business plan. This week's episode was with Army veteran Jazz Booth from Discharged. It's a comedy, animated comedy that's out. You got to check it out. Go to 5paragraph.com. Mike's actually one of the voiceovers, but Jazz, she's the visionary behind it. Wonderful human being there. And Jazz, she does a lot for the veterans community, so go check that out. Next up, Challenge Extended, sponsored by Move United. This week on the Challenge Extended podcast, they have retired Army Sergeant Christy Gardner. Christy was injured as a result of a line of duty incident as an MP while she was on a peacekeeping mission. Eventually, she became a member of the U.S. national sled hockey team and is serving as the assistant captain for the past 2 years. She's also looking at competing next year in the Tokyo Paralympics, and they discuss a new book it's a new children's book that recently came out titled Lucky. So give that a check. That is Challenge Extended. Next up, Heroes Hope from the Heroes Hope Network. This week is all about fulfillment. Michael and Melissa discuss canceled guests, viruses, and fear in the world. And they also talk a little bit about Melissa's time in the fire service and how she's come through her life to find fulfillment and hope after years of hopelessness. That is the Heroes Hope podcast. Let's see, what do we got here? Next up, the Decision Hour. This was a fun one for me this week. Titled it Feed Your Soul with Chef Ryan. Rondeno. From Louisiana to the kitchens of the rich and famous. This week, Chef Ryan came on, talked about kind of his upbringing, how he got started in the culinary arts. Started off in Louisiana, moved to Atlanta after Hurricane Katrina, and then found himself cooking for Will Smith, Diddy, Common, Exhibit, companies like Lamborghini and Mercedes-Benz. And then he started his own company, and he's got his own spice collection. So check that out. It's a really cool interview, and he shares some tricks and trades that will help you in your kitchen. And he's got some videos and stuff like that. He's really got a cool program out where you can have him really right there in your kitchen and help you cook. So it was good. Check that out. That's this week's Decision Hour. What do we have next? On the Blue Line podcast. They do a couple shows each week. They usually have a Monday morning roll call. This week, we're going to talk about the interview room, which comes out every Thursday. So this came out yesterday. The interview room, this week's guest is Rob Sanderson. He's the co-founder of a company called SWEL. They discuss Rob's experience with law enforcement and his love for the ocean. They also talk about the negative law enforcement incidences and some of the underlying causes. They also talk about how being in the ocean can kind of help you decompress and disconnect. And I totally agree with that as well. Ocean water therapy. This is one of those podcasts where you got to check it out. This is the last couple of weeks, obviously, with what's going on in the world. Everybody's kind of got a bad taste in their mouths with law enforcement, and we know why, we see why, but Wayne really puts this stuff into perspective, and God bless him. We love the fact that he's part of the HMG family. All right, Germano Advertising Company, thank you. Yes, the beard is... Thank you. Yeah, epic, right? I know. A lot of gray. All right, moving on. What do we have? The Arms Room. Arms Room show this week. In studio, they had David Bravo with Premier Martial Arts discussing combatives and physical fitness. I don't know about you guys, but I got to get back on the physical fitness track. Maybe a lot of you that are listening, watching this, need to do the same thing. Check it out. It's a great episode. They do their Facebook Live every Monday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right now. All right, next up we have Veterans Unite. Veterans Unite. They have partnered up with an organization called the People's Patriot Project, and they do a Got Your Six at 6. It is a live Zoom. They get a bunch of people on. This week's episode was called What's in Your Cup. They discuss a lot of different topics in the veterans community. I believe that they are going to be on again tonight. You can go to Veterans Unite Facebook page, or you could go to the People's Patriot Project Facebook page to check out time and when the next Got Your Six at 6 will be on. And if you'd like to join, just submit and ask to come on. Next up, the Power of Investing in People podcast. Shay has a great guest on this week with Scott Ferguson, another show that's on the HMG, part of the HMG family. This is another great interview. Scott and Shay talk about imposter syndrome, fear, and mindset. You do not want to miss this. This was a great episode. Just recently out, I believe it was late last night, yesterday afternoon. So check that out. And speaking of Scott, I'm going to talk about his podcast, Time to Shine Today. Time to Shine Today, host Scott Ferguson. Scott does a show 5 days a week. Monday through Friday, Scott pumps out an episode. He's got a ton of guests on. I can't go through all of them right now, but you have to check them out. Excuse me. That's Time to Shine Today. Gabe, what's up, buddy? How you doing? George? I owe you, George, I found some information out, so hit me up later about what we discussed last week. And see, okay, so Got Your Six at 6 has moved to Sunday evenings. Okay, awesome. Patty Catter, good morning. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Buzz, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Staying out of trouble? Let me see here. We got just a couple more left here. Mark, good morning, sir. Patriot Pride. Absolutely. Mark, there you go, folks. Hit Mark up or Andrea up. People's Patriot Project got your 6 at 6. Check that out. All right, a couple more here. Next up, we got Straight Outta Combat Radio. This week, they pumped out a couple of different episodes. Host John Krotek talks with Kirby Ingles, leadership mentor, life coach, speaker, titled Creating Pillars of Community. And then later in the week, yesterday, I believe, he had spoke with another guest, JayR. Excuse me, JayR, if I pronounce your last name wrong, but I believe it's JayR McIntyre. He's a decorated Army veteran. He's also the CEO of Rat Pack Worldwide. He's a security expert. Both great interviews. Check them out. All right, what do you guys got here? I love the fact that I'm getting people watching this. This actually makes me feel special. So thank you all. You know what? I'll tell you what. I asked everybody to post what they're grateful for. I am grateful for all of you that are live on here right now. For those of you that watch this later on in the afternoon or what have you, special guests. I don't know. I heard that guy's kind of a. We'll see, Mark. We'll see. We can talk about it offline. But there's a good chance that can happen. Last up, we got a new show announcement for HMG. We got a new show coming on board, the Gary Brogum podcast. Gary, former Border Patrol, pumps out some good content. So get ready for that. That's going to be coming. We got another show coming in July that I'll announce next week. We got some other announcements coming, so just stay tuned. The HMG family is expanding. We're pretty excited. Some stuff that we've been working on the last couple of years. We got 2 new audiobooks that will be out here by the end of or before 4th of July, so keep your eyes out for that. And also, before we wrap this up, I want to give a shout out to this week's sponsor, Cherry Host. If you have a website and need some help with it, or you're looking to host a new website or whatnot, go to cherry.host and check them out. My buddy Ray over there does a great job. So we love them. They're part of the HMG family. So check them out. That's cherry.host. All right, what else do we got? Anybody else before we wrap this up? That's it for shows. Of course, we got more shows coming out today, later today, and throughout the weekend. So make sure you check that out. Go to www.heroesmediagroup.com. If you have topics, discussions, questions, comments, or cries of outrage, feel free to send us an email or IM us directly here on Facebook, and somebody will get back to you there. So I'm just going to wait just one more minute, see if anybody else has anything else they would like to say. I'll tell you one thing else I'm grateful for is today I get a haircut for the first time in probably 4 months. I suffer from the quarantine hair. I'm not going to take my hat off all the way, but you can kind of see that, COVID gives you wings. So time to chop it up a little bit. Let's see here. Awesome. Well, folks, listen. That's it. That's all the time. I try to usually keep these under, between 10 and 15 minutes, and we're at that point right now. Check out the shows. If you've missed something, I'm going to have all of these shows posted in the links here in a few minutes. But have a wonderful weekend with all the craziness that's going on in the world today. Be positive. Please be positive. Be slow to anger. Be positive. God bless you all. I love you, and we will see you next week.